Okay, I want to start this off by saying I didn't want to make this video because I think this whole situation is fucking stupid. But I saw a video of fucking I don't fucking know, the emo bitch talking about how she stands with Casey, and that was recent. So I want to explain why that is fucking stupid thing to say. But first, I need to tell you the timeline of all this fucking shit. Alright, so the first thing to come out in this drama, it's not really fucking drama, it's more of a false accusation as far as I'm concerned. But it was Kay's initial allegation where she's crying for no reason, really. Because what she described was not sexual assault, it was maybe someone taking, not understanding social cues, which makes a lot of sense when you realise they're fucking Minecraft kids, obviously. But she accused of Georgenotfound touching her inappropriately, but that doesn't make it sexual assault because sexual assault has to be touching a sexual area without consent. And he touched her stomach, which is, I'm sure I'd have to tell you this, it's not a sexual area. But Kay didn't say it was in her initial allegation, she just said he touched her in a inappropriate way. And she didn't mention any details, and people ate up like fucking the dogs they are. So then George responded, which I think was a pretty good response video, albeit he disproved a lot of claims. She said she was originally forced to drink in her first video, but she was drinking before. She had over 21 banned on for VidCon. All this, it just seems like she was being stupid, but that makes sense. She was 18. 18-year-olds shouldn't be stupid, just how it is. And then George mentioned that they were cuddling on the sofa. She came back after going to the bathroom and all that shit. So I see how he must have thought that it was consensual, because not all consent is verbal. It's this thing. This is something people don't really tend to understand, but not all consent is verbal. Sometimes, like in a lot of situations, you have to figure it out, which then causes a lot of issues, because a lot of people aren't good at asserting their boundaries in a way where, like, you're not going to get fucking murdered for asserting your boundaries over someone cuddling you. It just seems like common sense. But you hear all these horror stories where people do, and it's very rare. The issue with modern media is it pushes something what is very rare in happening and makes it seem like it happens all the fucking time, which just isn't how it is. But anyway, that's a little tangent. Main thing about this response is that he actually provided screenshots, which Kate didn't do. She did in the next one, but we'll get to that in a second. In these screenshots, it showed that she was still talking to him after the incident, which is weird because if you get sexually assaulted, you really tend to continue to speak to a person who did it. Surely. I don't know. I'm not a woman. I don't know these things. But after Jules shut down all her points, she then put a fucking thing on Twitter, responded to it, and it's all like blah 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 blah. It's all saying she was uncomfortable, but she didn't want to show it. She changed the story into saying she was pressured into drinking, even though and pressured to go back to the hotel room, which then counteracts with her original story. There's a lot of contradictions in this fucking thing. It just seems stupid. But then at one point she faked a screenshot, which is where it really falls apart. But we'll come back to that later. That's more of in like a minute or two. If you want to skip to that, I don't have time to skip. I'm not going to make one. So after this, George fucking apologised on Twitter, like from Bob's fucking art, and it was just the most fucked up thing, because you don't apologise if you didn't do something. So that just made the guilt seem more for the fucking Minecraft kids with no friends. But then George deleted that tweet, and he made another response video, which then, in my mind, solidified he was completely innocent. The only reason he apologised was because in the text was fake. It was apparently from one of his friends. He thought this text was real, so he apologised because he thought that if it was that obvious that his friend who he met for the first time was picking up on it, he was obviously doing something wrong. But then it turns out that friend never sent that text. That was a fake text. So he called his friend on stream, had him explain that he never sent it, and that just fully proved that to me and many others that he didn't really do anything, and it made the situation just seem fucking stupid. So Katie Bugs has not responded to that fucking stream either. Like, she fully disappeared after her fucking first response. But her friend did respond. Let me tell you. This friend was Ghosty, who was the friend she was with at VidCon, and who let her drink, which could end up causing all this shit in the first place. But the stories are very contradictory. Like, Katie's story and Ghosty's story don't line up, which again makes us really fucking suspicious. That's the main fucking issue. Like, it's hard to believe someone if they're constantly changing their story. If you're gonna lie, stick to a fucking lie. Like, you can't be changing your story midway through. Make sure you keep it. Like, if you ever get fucking arrested, you always make sure your stories line up, because otherwise you're fucked. Yeah, another one of her friends responded just fucking screaming, and it was so fucking funny. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think she was purely talked into it being a much bigger deal than it actually was. It was maybe a bit awkward, but I think her friends talked her into making it a much bigger deal than it actually was. I don't think she's stupid. I think she's just gullible. She's 19 now, so she's still young, and she just doesn't really know what is going on. And I think that's the main issue. She was hanging around with a group of people who really fucking hated his guts, and, well, it kind of happens where you get convinced something is a much bigger deal than it actually is, and then you end up fucking up your career, and they're completely fucking fine, because they are all small streamers anyway, and no one's gonna fucking have this shit in a week. That's the main thing about drama online. It lasts for a week. If you ignore it for a week, it goes away, and it disappears forever, because no one gives a shit. It's like when Mizkiv got covered up for sexual assault. A week later, he was completely fine. He's talking to everyone again, and it ends up just being a situation you forget about. It's just how online the world works. A week's a long time. A week's too long for anything to be taken this seriously, and it's already gone on for over a week. So, also Nikichu, the emo bitch, whatever one you want. She also talked about the fucking World Berserk situation, which I also made a video on, just fucking laughing because it was funny. She bit his ex-girlfriend. It was funny. But now, as more information came out, that was a much more serious situation than I originally thought. But I still think it was funny off the bat. So, fuck you, and good night.